You know, I'm just thinking, I hope the camera, I guess I just have to project. Go back to theater and project! And just not too loudly so my neighbors don't come knocking on my door. Hey y'all, I'm Madeline Monahan, but you can call me Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm in a different location. Clearly, as you can see, I am not in my normal spot. As many of you are probably aware, I have cats now, and my husband's chair has been getting ripped to shreds. So as part of an experiment, I flipped the chairs around, so it's not my normal chair. My desk is also a mess, hence why I am here with my lovely Japanese doll. Today I wanted to share with you guys my tips for NaNoWriMo. I've only done NaNoWriMo once, and last year was my very first time ever participating in Nano. I had heard about it earlier that year and decided that I was gonna go for it. And like many things, I just sort of jumped in without really planning out what I was going to do, how I was going to approach it. And so this year I've sat down in this wonderful Preptober and have put together a list of tips that not only am I giving to myself, but I also want to share with you guys of what to do during Nano and how to survive Nano pretty much. Because it can get kind of hard to survive sometimes, let me tell you. Now, I have told this story before, but I will tell it again. Last Nano, I finished the 50,000 words in 2 weeks. After those 2 weeks were up, I kid you not, literally the day after I submitted it, got my little certificate and everything that I had completed my novel, I got sick. I had a really high fever and I was sick for the rest of November. I did a very bad job taking care of myself. I think with these tips, having them in mind will help hopefully not only me but also you in staying healthy and staying happy both mentally and physically during the month of November, because November is crazy for us writers. So let's get into these tips. Tip number 1, and this is something that I think all writers should do, is drink lots of water. I always try to have a water glass next to my computer when I'm writing, just something that I can sip on because I forget to drink water. I love coffee, I love Dr. Pepper, I love ginger ale, but these are not things that are going to help me stay hydrated during NaNoWriMo. And that was a problem that I faced last year, was I was not drinking enough water. I had a water bottle and I did not use it. This year I am planning on using my water bottle. I'm planning on always having a full glass of water next to me. Water, honestly, it's amazing how when you get older, how much you appreciate water, like how much it reinvigorates you and re-energizes you. And when you were a kid, you thought it was the most disgusting thing on the planet because it didn't taste like anything. And then you get older and it's like, wait, no, this is actually like a magical thing and we need it. So I always have water with me when I'm writing now, and I highly recommend y'all having that too, because it will just, especially if it's cold, I don't know why, but like cold water always gets my brain awake again, like more so than like coffee or anything. I always have more energy after drinking a cold glass of water as opposed to a hot cup of coffee. Not to say that I don't drink coffee, but cold glass of water surprisingly has the same effect as coffee, just without the jitters. Number 2, and this is something else I did not do last November, is make sure you are eating well. I get in a terrible habit of not eating throughout the day. I don't know why, especially for someone like me who can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and is always hungry. Make sure the snacks that you're eating are not all junk food. Make sure you've got, you know, some apples in there, or a banana, or an orange, or a lemon, or a lime. Make sure you have other things besides candy and popcorn and chips and stuff. And I love candy and popcorn and chips, so you know, don't cut it out completely. Just make sure you're getting an equal amount of good stuff because you'll feel better, you know? There's something about junk food where you just kind of feel sluggish and gross if you eat too much of it, and you don't really get that feeling with like fresh foods and stuff. So definitely try and eat as much good stuff as you are bad stuff. At least that's what I'm going to try and do. Tip number 3. Again, something else I did not do last November. Take a rest day. When you are planning out your NaNoWriMo schedule, what times you're going to be writing, what days you're going to be writing, make sure there is a day where you just don't touch your project. I know it's hard, especially in Nano, when you feel like you only have this amount of time to do that, and if you miss a day, you're gonna be super behind. It is really not worth your health to put that kind of pressure on yourself. You really need to put yourself first during Nano, or else you will end up dead on the couch. By taking a rest day, you're giving your brain a chance to relax and revamp itself. You're giving your body a chance to relax. You just are going to feel better if you take that rest day. I know it's hard. Believe me, I know how hard it is to take a rest day during Nano, but it is so important that you give yourself time to calm down. You give yourself a cooling off period. But you do want to have that time where you just relax and you give yourself a chance to really think about your project. And it's also helpful for when you're writing. So if you feel like your story is kind of fallen off track a little bit, you can take that rest day to just, you know, sit down and kind of just think about it and be like, okay, well, how can I approach it? You know, maybe take some notes, but I think as far as touching your project and adding those, you know, 1,667 words to it, I think it's a good idea to just miss that day. You know, take notes if you need to, think about it if you need to, but if you can, take a day off. Tip number 4, take your time. I know how crazy it is to think about you have to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And yeah, that is kind of nuts. Let's be real here, but we writers, we're kind of nuts. You want to take your time with it. You have at least 12 hours in a day that you are awake. I say at least because, you know, some people do sleep 12 hours. You can plan out your day and have your writing times. You know, you don't have to sit down and get all of those, you know, 1,667 words in 3 hours. You can space it out throughout the day. Work on it when you can, you know, and if you don't reach your goal one day, that's totally fine. You have time to reach it another day. You don't have to cram everything into a certain amount of time to reach that goal. Let yourself breathe, let your brain breathe, and give yourself the time you need to reach that goal for that day. And if you don't get it, that's okay. You still have tomorrow, and you still have the next day, and you still have the rest of the 27 days of November. I know that seems counterintuitive, especially since, you know, you are kind of on a time crunch. I think if you really utilize it throughout the day and you don't just try to sit down and blow through it all at once during your day, I think you'll feel a lot better and that you've achieved a lot more by the end of the day. So definitely please take your time. Tip number 5, do some kind of exercise while you are in between writing sessions or after you finished your writing session. Go outside, go for a run, go for a walk, go to the park. You know, I think you can go to parks now. Can you go to parks now? I think you can go to parks now. And if you don't want to go outside, do something inside, like an indoor workout or yoga or Pilates or something, you know. And even if it's not like a physical form of working out, you could maybe just sit down and read a book. You know, sit down and work on a new skill, you know, let your brain get some exercise. I know you're probably fried afterwards, but it's good to take your mind off of what you're doing once you've finished your session. I think it's good for your brain to just sort of not think about it anymore. Because if you overthink, you're going to stress yourself out, and you just don't want to stress yourself out during Nano. Nano is stressful enough. So definitely, you know, go outside, get some fresh air, grab a good book, grab a movie or something. Do something that's an activity to take your mind off of your project, at least for a little while, so you can give your mind a break to calm down, but you're also, you know, paying attention to the rest of you and nothing is getting neglected. Tip number 6, which is my final tip for Nano, is once you have reached your daily goal, just stop. Once you hit that, you know, 1,600 or whatever you said is your daily goal, once you hit that number, just stop for the day. You know, you've reached your goal. I know that there's always this, especially once you get in the mood and you get rolling, you're like, oh, but I can keep going and keep going and keep going. That is going to be how you burn yourself out. And the trick that I have learned and I have heard from other people is that the way to achieve, you know, being able to come back and still feeling like you are on a roll, leave it on like a cliffhanger, on like a little cliffhanger for yourself, or leave it, you know, maybe not halfway through a sentence, but you know, leave it as something where it's like, oh, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and I'm gonna finish this and it's gonna be awesome. Because you want that time in the evening or the afternoon to, you know, spend time with your family, with your cats, with your dogs, with your fish. You're gonna want that time. And honestly, your brain is going to want that time and your body is going to want that time. You know, you're going to want that time to go outside and breathe the fresh air. Taste the morning out there like ordinary man who freely walks about there. And it's the same thing. Your project is going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be there the next day. It will be there for the rest of NaNoWriMo, and if you like it, it'll be there for after NaNoWriMo as well. But during Nano, it is just good to basically turn it into part of your work day. You know, you get that goal and then you end it, and then you go have dinner with your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your parents or your sisters or brothers or aunts, uncles. It's just so important to make sure you're not overdoing it, because you really don't want that extra stress on you. You don't want that extra pressure. NaNoWriMo is a lot of fun, and I will be doing it, you know, for the foreseeable future. But there is a lot of extra stress that is put on people during Nano because of the time frame that you have to write this novel. And especially for people who are in school, high school, college, grad school, there's a lot that happens in November. Having Nano on top of all that, there is always that added pressure. And even if you're not in school, 2020, y'all, has been such a weird year, and everybody has been stressed out this year. So don't let Nano stress you out more than this year already has. Nano is fun, and this year is going to be no different. There are just certain steps that I think you need to take in order to protect yourself, protect your health, and just keep your brain unfried throughout this whole process. AKA, don't be me last year, who had no self-control and ended up dead on the couch for 2 weeks, and basically then got her husband sick and could not properly celebrate our first Thanksgiving as a married couple because I was half dead and he was full dead, and it was a miserable Thanksgiving. So please don't be us. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope that these tips will help you guys, will kind of just remind you guys that, you know, your health, your body, your brain, it's more important than your NaNoWriMo project. It's more important than NaNoWriMo. Yes, it's fun, but please, 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 like anything that's fun, make sure you take care of yourself so that you can keep enjoying it. So comment down below and let me know if you guys have any other tips for Nano, or any kind of schedule or what you're doing for Nano that you're hoping will help you not be dead on the couch. I'm always down to hear more tips. I'm always interested in what y'all's strategies are for remaining healthy and alert and awake throughout NaNoWriMo. So go ahead and leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, click that like button, and maybe ring that bell if you so choose. Of course, as always, my friends, there is never any pressure. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! If you do this, you get Bane's voice from Batman, but if you do this, you get Kylo Ren's voice from Star Wars.
What will break first? Your spirit or your body?
Dim up to Skywalker. We know you wouldn't. I'm so dark. I'm so emo.